identity. This is the central hub of how we see ourselves and how we decide reality is. And just like in the movie The Matrix, that was this illusionary case created by a computer, the emotional source code is what is driving your reality. Except instead of it being a computer-generated thing, it is an emotional-generated thing. We are fundamentally emotional. And that is what is feeding into the field. So at this level of identity, this is the thing we protect the most. Identity is the way you identify yourself when you're not thinking about yourself. We are incredibly protective of identity. If I ask you what is the most important thing in life, you will no doubt say life. Life itself is most important. We behave in ways that are very sort of prehistoric when we're under threat because life matters so much. So if that's true, why would somebody strap a bomb on themselves and go blow themselves up? It's not because life is more important, it's because identity is most important. And if you understand that identity, you then understand the meaning. And if you understand the meaning, then you can drive the behavior. So identity is what we're most addicted to. And from a neuroscience position, this is why it's so difficult for people to really change. Because the number one addiction of human beings is not cocaine or heroin and all those other receptors that we've got in our brain, but it's our identity. You will behave in a very prehistoric manner if somebody threatens your identity. In June 1990, I was free climbing at 120 feet. I reached for a rock that dislodged and sent me hurtling down. I was gripping onto a rock, but I was gripping onto an old reality. And as I fell at the base, I was smashed on the rocks below. My body was shattered, but so was my reality. Everything I believed about myself was suddenly broken open. And the problem with identity is most of us will never even consider looking at it until there is a crisis. And what do we call that? An identity crisis. And most of us think of it as the most terrible thing that could happen to you. But I put it to you that an identity crisis, as I had to learn, is just an enormous gift. Because it wakes us up from who we were to who we can be. You see, if I had not had that fall, I would never have found my true purpose. If you'd have asked me 5 seconds before I fell, are you living on purpose? The answer would have been absolutely yes. But I couldn't know that purpose while clinging on to the old reality of who I was. When I fell, it was in the aftermath of that I got to discover that that identity was a false identity. But I tried very hard to hold on. Even after multiple reconstructive surgeries, I did not want to give up this sense of my identity. The problem with identity is the seeds of beliefs and values are planted in identity. Both Jung and Freud talked about how our beliefs and values spring out of the unconscious parts of our identity. So identity gets moved into 2 places, and this is really important. There is what we bring forward, what we let people see, and then there is that which we disenfranchise. Human beings, as you know, are tribal. We have to fit in with our tribe. And because we're tribal, we will disenfranchise parts of ourselves in order to be accepted. In order for them to see us, in order for them to accept us, we will push certain parts of ourselves away. And only upon an identity crisis will we examine that and go, what if that's not me?